was nasty and he had to take 70 showers before he could be with Kim, as though Kim is, I mean, if you're judging cleanliness and dirtiness by sex partners, as though Kim is so clean, why is she so clean? Because she's white. So Kanye, the horse he rode on, the people who's defending him. I don't feel bad for him, whether he has a plan or not. I don't care. Whether it works out for him, good. If it doesn't work out for him, good. Get the help that you know you need.
What up, what up, what up, what up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I am Tavares Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferg, joined my co-host Razi and Buff. Fellas, tell them what's on your mind.
Not much. CNN has I may have mentioned this last week, but CNN has a documentary on Rupert Murdock, and it's dope. So check it out. It's just interesting how he was able to get all of this together and become essentially the most powerful network in America. So check it out. It's like, I think it's like a 6-part series. I don't know. They just showed part 5, but it's airing on CNN, and it mirrors the show Succession if you watch that on HBO Max. So it's kind of like watching the same show. I think I did talk about this last week, but even if I did, check it out. It's pretty good, especially if you're into, politics, because Fox News is heavily influences politics. So check it out, man, and just see how he became the man that he is and how they run that empire. But that's all I got. Not much today.
I got so much.
See, it works out.
Yeah, it works out. House of the Dragon season finale. Oh my God. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna spoil it, but oh my God, it was good. So if there was any doubt on which one was better out of House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings or Ring of Power, that solidified it. House of the Dragon's just far and beyond better than Ring of Power. Season 1. I don't know if it's going to get better in the future seasons. I know Ring of Power already has 5. They're already signed up for 5 seasons, but just based off of season 1, Lord of the Rings is not living up to expectations. What else happened? Adidas dropped Ye, so there's no more Yeezys. And for everybody who's, Yeezy can just go, or Kanye can just go and leave and make his own or whatever. Adidas owns the designs. They own the colorways. Ye can do, he was a brand. So they basically were paying him for his brand. And they just have to, they can do just what Nike did with the original Yeezys and just keep selling them and not brand them as Yeezys. So that's exactly what they're going to do. Kanye just has to find somebody else. I heard that he stormed Skechers and tried to kind of sell himself to them and got escorted out. So that lets you know that I don't think any brands are going to be touching Kanye West anytime soon. So there's not going to be much when it comes to that.
See, that's your problem with your non-woke mind. Your third eye don't see the bigger picture, brother.
Oh, okay.
So, Brother Ye said slavery was a choice. So now he's no longer a slave to these corporations. See, you don't see it, brother. You don't see. You gotta listen. You gotta embrace your inner Yeezy. You gotta embrace your inner Yeezy, bro. Like, you don't get it. He's been doing this for the longest.
Kanye still is a 500 millionaire, and he can go out and create a distribution network and send out his shoes and all of that himself. It's not that easy though. He can do it. I'm gonna start calling him the artist. The artist formerly known as Yeezy. He's liberated himself from the big corporations. Man, that dude's so crazy. Exactly.
I just, what's better than Kanye?
folks who follow Kanye?
Kanye followers. Followers of the Ye. Yeezans. What are they called? We got to give them a name. Ye heads? What do we call them?
I would say I've been unfollowing them with the quickness. I don't know what they're called, but I've been unfollowing them.
Yeezikins?
Yeezikins. That sounds like something that Epte would call them.
Yayites.
There you go. Yayites.
Yeah, to all the Yayites out there. Man, I'm like, dog, just let this man. And I hate to see it. I hate to see him, a dude who was so admired and so respected go through so much. I kind of hope he has a bigger plan. I would just hate to see somebody fall so far from grace. Back to loyalty from last week. A lot of people respected his music, respected what he was doing, but at the end of the day, they had to cut ties. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and I respect him for not being a slave anymore. I'm just not loyal to him like that. That's it. And the Yayites are. So that, and one other thing that happened, we were just talking about that before we got on, is Elon actually pulled the trigger and closed the deal with Twitter. So now Tesla owns Twitter. So kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know if Tesla owns it. I think Elon owns it with his holding company or whatever, along with Tesla. And so he's already fired a couple of executives. I hear that Buff was just talking about they're going to cut like a third of the staff is what they're anticipating. So it's going to be a big shakeup at Twitter. We'll see how it all shakes out and what happens. But, it's just I can admit when I'm wrong. I said that he was going to pull out, and he didn't. He busted all up inside of there. So, he just let it fly.
Wow.
Not an image I wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. So, but yeah, that's all I got. I was surprised at that one.
Yeah. Buff, what was going on in your favorite state, Florida? I'm just hearing about these voter fraud arrests. You're up to date on that?
A little bit. People getting arrested for voting after being told that they were allowed to vote by election officials. Even the police they didn't even know 100% why they were arresting these people. Like, they could barely articulate the charges. But
yeah, for a police force to be, I know how Florida police are. I've never seen them so apologetic. Like, they like, man, I don't got nothing. Like, I don't even mention like, well, they told me I can vote. Tell them that. Like, they were on these people's side. Like, man, I don't know what to tell you. So in Florida, Governor DeSantis, to quell voter fraud, well after the election, started going back and going through to prove that there was voter fraud, based off of former felons. And in Florida, felons regain the right to vote. And so that's what they were told. And so they're going to, like, one guy was getting his driver's license and they were like, are you going to register to vote? Man, I can't do that. It's like, oh no, felons can vote. Just submit it. If they turn you down, then that means you can't vote. If they say yes, that means you can vote. Makes sense. That's where a lot of people register to vote. These are people that should be up on voter laws. The average person does not know. They vote. I think in this summer, June, July, August timeframe, there's this big sting where they're just showing up people's jobs, showing up people's homes, basically arresting them for voter fraud. And police are sitting there like, I have no idea what's going on. I've never dealt with this. I don't know how to handle this. And it's big. He's trying to arrest these people before the midterms and get them out of there. And if it's illegal, just like take their name off the roster and keep moving. You can't go back. You're wasting taxpayer dollars. You're wasting time. We talk about defund the police. I don't even know if this is one of the things the police should be handling. You know, you can send a mail clerk to this. Like, oh yeah, by the way, they want to see you at court because you shouldn't have voted. Like, people are getting pulled out of their homes, out of their jobs. And you know, for felons, a lot of times perception is already everything. You see a felon getting arrested? Dog, what happened? Man, I got arrested for voter fraud. Nah, what really happened? You can't tell your job you got pulled out because you voted a year and a half ago. And now that don't even sound right. I wouldn't believe it. Man, Florida be Florida then.
Wow.
Outside of that, Go Stros, the Houston Astros have made it back to the World Series. It's something in the water down here with
Are they still stealing signs? Are they still stealing signs? Are they?
No. You think it's easy to steal signs now with everybody, watching for stealing signs? That's y'all one. Every time I bring up Astros, a nigga got to bring up stealing signs.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. I'm just saying.
Here we go.
So Go Stros. And I'm a little slightly depressed right now because I'm not in the heights of Seven Hills celebrating homecoming for FAMU, the home of the Rattlers. I know it's going down. Right now, it's almost 9 o'clock here, so 10 o'clock there. It is going on all the way. So to all my Rattlers on your way home, please tune into Three Brothers No Sense and listen. Don't post any pictures. Don't tag any pictures. I will be hating on you all weekend long. I hope it rains all weekend. I hope they run out of plastic cups. I hope they run out of ice. I hope they hope there's a locust infection or something. I don't know. Outbreak. I just don't want you to enjoy yourself because I'm not there. Yes, I'm petty. All right. With that being said, what we got?
And we're gonna say infestation. We don't wish any infections on anybody down there.
Oh yeah,
at homecoming. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No infections. No infections. Be safe.
Razi with the cleanup.
Thank you. Thank you. What you got?
I got people
I know
down
Sophie
there too.
sleep.
I care about them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. She's not asleep. Hold on 1 second. She's about to go to sleep after her joke, but yep. Hold on, let me go grab her.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
She sleep?
Yeah. She must have fell asleep early.
All right. Well, unfortunately, Sophie won't be joining us tonight, but we do have the privilege of having Razi tonight. So, Razi, give us your best joke.
No
pressure.
Oh, what do you call a man who's finished digging? Doug.
Yeah, I actually was going to say that, but I was like, that doesn't even. Okay. Yeah.
It wouldn't be funny, right?
Yeah. It's like, no way is that. I went first last week, man.
Razi, you went last. It's on you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this one might be quick. I want to know. Say that. Yeah, exactly. I want to know what Kanye's master plan is. I want you brothers to put yourself in.
I woke hat on.
Three smart gentlemen. Yeah, put your woke hat on, and I want us to get down into this hotepery and really kind of dissect what Kanye's angle could be.
So we have to embrace our. I want you all just take 5 seconds and embrace your inner yayites. Yeah, so yay of little Yee need to get out of there. So what is Kanye's grand plan? What is his master plan?
Like, how does he come out on top of this?
So is your question like, how does he recover? Or is it like he really has a plan and how does he execute it? Like, because recovering and executing, because this is part of his plan right now.
Right. If this is part of his plan, what's the next step? Like, how does he come out on top of this? Like, what would be the plan for him to come out on top? Like, why would he do that? The things that he's done to get ahead? Because there's a lot of people out there that think that.
Oh yeah, that he did this intentionally to get out of his contracts and things like that. That this is all part of the plan. Mm-hmm. I'll answer it two ways. The people the Yayites, as we're calling them,
us.
Well, as we're calling them, they feel like he did all this to prove a point, and he needed a smart way to get out of the contracts that he was in. So that's why he went out there speaking the truth. And as you can see, Balenciaga, Adidas, I forget which bank that was, they all have released him. And so now he can step back, regroup, and become his own true company. Because the Yeezy brand was always tied to Nike and then Adidas and then Gap and then Balenciaga. Now he can be his own true brand, true distributor, where he gets all the money and he becomes the powerful person that he's speaking about. He's speaking a lot about the Jews, so he can become and help empower other Black people to be our own movie studios and own schools and own universities and churches and where we control the narrative in the media and in everything else like that. So that is his grand plan, and he needed to get out of those contracts in order to implement this plan. You guys will see as it plays out. Some of y'all just ain't woke enough to see it yet.
Oh, I'm not supposed to laugh right now. My bad. Okay.
That would be great if we weren't talking about Kanye.
We're not talking about Kanye. We're talking about Ye.
Minor Pablo. My bad. Minor Pablo. So, I stand corrected. We're talking about Ye. Yeezus, excuse me. So, first of all, you got to enter his mind. You got to think, like, what kind of person thinks like this, right? And it will start with somebody who changes their name to Yeezus or refers to himself as Jesus. What you were saying, Buff, comes from somebody I think that truly wants to help the public and the community and stuff like that, who is more of a giver than a taker. And nothing about Ye has shown me that he's about the bigger picture other than Ye. I think this is a egotistical, self-centered ploy to prove that he is better. And I hope I'm wrong. Because if you look at what's going on around him, who he's surrounding himself with, it's other people making power moves. You know, he idolizes Trump. Trump is a name. Trump is a brand. Trump is he is before the presidency. He was one of those people that you just had to call Trump. Like, you didn't have to call his whole name. And so he wants that. He wants that same admiration. He wants that same power. He wants to be bigger than life. I mean, you got to think, this is the same guy that just out of the blue, talking about, I'm going to run for president. I call myself Jesus. Like, he's delivering the word. Like, it's, you look at who he surrounds himself around, and then what's going on out there. Something as simple as Zuckerberg creating the metaverse, something bigger than anything we've seen before. Like, the possibilities of the metaverse are just astronomical. We don't know where this is going to go. And he wants to be a part of something like that. You know, he's trying to create his own township, I think. He's looking to do those things. He wants to pretty much have a Kanye land, Yayville, whatever you want to call it. That's what he's looking to do. I think he's trying to prove to himself in the world that he can do it. He wants to be known for that. He wants to prove that he can do what's never been done. And I don't think it's for the right reason. Call it a hunch. Even things like you were talking about Elon Musk, you know, everything that's going on with them, like, it's people making power moves, and he wants that type power. He wants to go down in history to say he doesn't want to be just another rapper. He doesn't want to be just known as another person that 20 years from now we're like, oh, you remember Kanye? He wants to be remembered. We will never stop talking about Trump. Trump is part of the culture. Trump is part of American history,
right? He's going to be in history.
Not even just with the president, not even with the presidency. Trump prior to that would always be. Trump was the closest thing we've had with Rockefellers and all that stuff in years, as far as his name recognition and power related to wealth. And Kanye wants that. He wants to be the first Black Rockefeller. He wants that name recognition to go down in history, and he's doing everything he can to do it. And for whatever reason, people are buying into it. Should it be something we're fearful of? No, but we said the same thing about Trump, so who knows? How he can pull it off? I don't know, because I don't think it's coherent enough or thought out. Nobody's on his wavelength. He doesn't have enough people that see or understand his vision to make it come to fruition. It sounds good. Like, yeah, I want to move to Yayville. How does that work? How do you become a Yayite?
Same way he has those kids at his school, right? Like at Donda Academy. Like, people actually sign their kids up for Donda Academy.
Yeah. How many people?
I can't remember, but they're a K through 12 school. So
yeah, maybe a couple hundred people.
Yeah. So, but
yeah, he might have a little township with 2,000 people. That might be the most you see. You'll get a couple of hundred people, maybe a couple of thousand people, and he's created a Black community, and that's what he wants. He wants that kind of recognition. You know, when 20 years from now, like, dog, I drove through Yayville yesterday. That's a possibility. He wants that, because nobody else is doing that. When was the last time somebody created a Black town?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's some women in Georgia that created one a couple of years ago.
They're working on it. Mm-hmm. They're working on it, and you can buy land out there and stuff like that, and it's not too expensive.
Yeah, I'll say
they got to
this.
get enough people. They got to get enough people to buy in. So my bad.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fine. I just wanted to kind of wrap it up with I think Kanye does have a plan. It's a bad plan, but he has a plan. And I think the first thing that in his plan is the freedom to say and do whatever he wants, right? He's been kind of led astray with what he has been taught. I think that's the problem. He's out of his depth when it comes to some of the stuff he talks about, right? The politics and all of that stuff. He's a genius when it comes to music. And I think what happens a lot of times is with a lot of geniuses is they think that they can be a genius in everything. They think they know everything. Coming from somebody who thinks they know everything, right? And you can't tell me nothing. It's one of those things that Kanye, once he gets his head around something, he latches on and he thinks that's gospel and he's going to say it. And I think that is his strategy. His plan is to say whatever I want and let the chips fall. And he's at a place where he can make those moves and it won't hurt him. Going from a billionaire to a 500 millionaire matters not. Like that doesn't change how he lives his life, right? And I agree with you, Ferg. I think the narcissist in him is like, I want my name to be known. I want that legacy, and I want to feel like I led everybody to the promised land. And so that's why he gets on and he talks all this craziness. And you know, a broke clock is right twice a day. It's like he does the same thing that your Umar Johnsons of the world does, right? They say a couple nuggets that actually make a little sense, but then they wrap it in all of this other BS and wrong things, and people just latch on to the nuggets of right and assume the other stuff is right too. And so I think his strategy is not working. But he does have a strategy. It's just a really, really poorly executed bad strategy of say whatever I think, get on. Nobody's going to control me. Nobody's going to tell me, you know, I'm wrong or I'm doing something wrong. What I think is the right way. And I'm going to drive forward. And you need that persistence to be successful in anything that you do. Right. That's how he became a rapper from a producer. That's how he became a producer from a kid, you know, making some beats in you know, his city. It's one of those things that the same things that got him where he is the things that are messing him up because he can't get out of his own way. He gets blinders on and he wants to go straight forward in whatever he thinks is right. And he's not listening to other people. So while I don't agree with what he's doing, I do think he has a strategy. It's not going to end well for him.
Yeah, good point. I can agree to that. I think another challenge of his is, and I kind of mentioned it, is I don't think anybody else can understand where he's trying to go. And if you can't surround yourself with people who see your vision, because he might have a plan, but can he execute? Can Ye do everything he needs to do? Think about Trump. Trump had a plan to be the president. People can see the end game. Like it's simple. Like he wants to be president. He's saying a lot of crazy stuff, but he wants to be president. I don't think anybody truly understands his end game. So it's hard to surround yourself or build a team that can't really understand your vision, because his vision doesn't seem simple enough. So yeah,
it's too complex. It's too many parts. It's too many pieces, and he's going everywhere. Yeah. Right. We talked about that with Master P and how everybody's like he's a genius, and I was like he just got ADD. Like he just wanted to jump in everything, and he finally got focused in I want to be in foodstuffs. And so now he gets to say, oh, when I go wrap snacks to ramen noodles to everything, at least it's all in the food space, right? But at one point, what was he? He was a record producer, a rapper, a movie producer, real estate, got into food. Like he was just all over the place.
Sports agent.
Sports agency.
Yeah. And so you look at a lot of that. Kanye did a lot of that too, right? Because I think he had a Donda sports agency. I think a couple people dropped off of his sports agency. He was doing that exact same thing. I think he just had issues when it came down to controlling where he wanted to go, like you said, Ferg, and making sure that everybody understood what the vision was and what direction we were going in, because he was going in 500 million different directions. So I feel for the man. That's really, I do feel for the man, but he's still, I mean,
can't feel for him. He makes $500 million.
Yeah.
Can't feel sorry for you.
I don't feel for him at all. I mean, I know we're all hypocritical by nature, but this guy's a hypocrite on steroids. This is a guy who complained about high-end fashion being too expensive for average black people, and then he makes high-end fashion that's too expensive for average black people. This is a guy who, when he was trying to come up as a rapper, appreciated the rappers that put him on stage with him, and then he goes on Drink Champs and disses him and said, I don't like that music. What's wrong with you? You think I listen to that after they gave you like one of your first breaks? This is a guy who had no problem with the so-called power structure when they was letting him sit at the table, but as soon as they don't 100% go his way, then he's talking, reckless and Jews this and Jews that. This is a guy who married Kim Kardashian, who is first burst on the scene for a sex tape, but calls his ex-girlfriend Amber Rose nasty, and he had to take 70 showers before he could be with Kim, as though Kim is, if you're judging cleanliness and dirtiness by sex partners, as though Kim is so clean. Why is she so clean? Because she's white. So Kanye, the horse he rode on, the people who's defending him. I don't feel bad for him, whether he has a plan or not. I don't care. Whether it works out for him, good. If it doesn't work out for him, good. Get the help that you know you need.
Oh, we being petty now. I love it.
Yes. Go for it.
Speaking of petty, this would be the perfect time for George Bush to be petty.
Oh yeah.
This is like I can see it. Like I can see it. I was on this other day.
Yes. He just needs to get on the mic and be like, Kanye West don't like black people.
No. I have this vision. It just came to me. I know George has called Michelle. Shelly, let me get him. Let me get him. Let me get him. Nah, George, when they go low, we go high. Cause he a Trump supporter. He was coming at her husband. George Bush loves Michelle. He probably like Michelle. This I've been waiting on this. Y'all would never let me say anything to this dude. Now is my time. George Bush, if you listen to the show, anybody know the George Bush personally, tell him, get him. Michelle, let him loose.
That would be funny.
Yeah, I know could you imagine George Bush calling saying like, hey, can I get him? I just feel like that happened. First lady, let him loose. Buff, you go.
Okay, so you guys have already spoken on this, but I want you to speak on it in front of the audience because there was more to say. I believe it was you, Ferg, but you didn't want to speak on it. So in this text thread that we're in, someone posted a TikTok or a video where this woman is saying, if you're engaged, you're still single. If you live in the same house, you're still single. If you have his kids, you're still single. Unless you're married, anything other than marriage, you're single. So stop being stupid. Men know what they want. And you're just being a placeholder. If he's not going to marry you, you need to move on. And I think Razi spoke on it, and I think you disagreed. So I posed the question to you, brothers. Is marriage the only non-single status? Like, if you're engaged, does that mean you're still single? Or is there more nuance to the relationship statuses that we have?
Would you like to go first, Razi?
No.
Do you want me to play the video?
After you find, sir.
Let me play the video for the audience first. Yeah. Okay.
You're single until you're married. You live with your boyfriend, of y'all have kids, still single. You call his mom, super single. You have joint account and he has stuff in your name, stupid and single. Don't be foolish and stop calling a man hubby who hasn't made you his wife. Stop lying to yourself and accept the fact that your bond with him is not as deep as you thought it was because he won't marry you. Stop lying to yourself saying you don't want to get married and it's just a piece of paper, but yet and still you live with a man popping out kids, pretending to be a wife. Make it make sense. Just say that you've accepted your role as a placeholder, better known as a long-term girlfriend. You have the potential to be a wife, just not his wife. He's going to string you along because you're convenient, but he won't ever commit to you because you're really not what he wants. Don't underestimate men. Men are very smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. That's why you're a long-term girlfriend. Be careful and don't be too comfortable because he'll leave you one day and marry a woman that he met for 6 months because she has standards, because she made him man up, because that's who he really wants. Be smart, date smart, choose wisely.
So it's simple. I mean, I get it. You might be in a relationship, but you're single. Marriage is the ultimate commitment. And until you take that step, you're still single. You can love each other. Like, you can get up and walk out tomorrow. You might have to pay some child support. You don't got to sign no papers. You don't got to do nothing. You know, you can call your wife, you can call him your husband, but you're still single. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm just saying is, you're not married. You can't file for anything together. You can't. You're just not. It's a commitment, and for some people, it doesn't work. But you don't hear married people talking about that. The only people that say a ring or marriage doesn't matter are people that aren't married. Byron, does it matter that you're married to Tabitha?
It matters.
Yeah, because you can't get up and walk away. You can't just because you had to make the commitment, no matter how much you love her. If you want to be with that person, that is the you're a free agent. You can get up and walk away at any point. You have to literally sign. There's a process you got to go through to be unmarried. There's a process you have to go through to become married. There ain't no process you have to go through to date. We're dating. We're in a relationship. You my fiance. Ain't no papers you got to sign to be a fiance. Ain't no papers you got to sign to get an engagement annulled. It is what it is. I understand the love and all that stuff, and we've been together and this works for us. Cool. That might work for you, but you're still single. You know, if it's not a big thing, get married.
No, I think we're talking two different things here, right? I never said marriage isn't a big thing. I agree, marriage is the next step. What I said is there are levels to relationships and
levels to being single.
No, there's levels to relationships, and single is very different than marriage. You don't necessarily have to be married, and you can still not be single. Once I say and we decide that we are monogamous and we are not dating anybody else, you're no longer single, right? Now, legally, you're still single. I'll give you that. I'll concede that. Legally, you're single. Legally, you're single, but relationshiply, I don't think that's a word. Relationship status, you are not single anymore. Single means that I can go out and do single people shit. When you're talking in a relationship, I can do single people stuff. I can go out and date somebody else. If I'm single and you see me out with somebody else, you can't tell me anything. You can't be mad. You can't say anything. That's what I say about dating. If we're dating, I'm dating other people. If we are in a relationship, if we are together and we've had that conversation and we said, I'm not dating anybody else, you're not dating anybody else, we are together. I'm no longer single. You're not single. We're in a relationship. If I'm in a relationship, I'm not single. You're not single at that point because there are levels to it, right? There are rules. There's constrictions. Yeah. Constraints. That's it. That's what I was trying to say. There are constraints to that relationship. And once you have those constraints that I can't do single people then I'm no longer single, right? Now, there are levels to that where I'm single, I'm engaged, I'm married. So there's levels to even that, right? Where I'm no longer single, but I have levels in my relationship. But if I'm in a relationship with you, if I've committed to you, that's all that matters for me not to be single when it comes to relationship status. Because I'm telling you now, if a woman ever says to me, I'm single until you married or until we're married, I'm going to show you what single is. Don't tell me that and think that I'm going to be like, okay, you single, but I'm still going to not date anybody else. Don't think if you tell me I'm single until I'm married that I'm not going to be on Tinder and on Black and everything else looking for my next thing, because I don't know when you feel like you're going to walk out. If you feel like you can walk out at any moment, if you feel like you're single, be single. That's cool. I'm with that. I'm totally with you being single and me being single and we hooking up when we hook up. That's cool with me.
So a couple of things. So you're making it all about like the dateability and who can see who, and it's all kind of sexual. So first question
I'm not talking about sexual. I'm talking about.
So to the point where she's single. She's right. She's single. Now she's in a relationship, because if you ask a question, if I had a questionnaire, are you married or single? You got to check one. What are you? Single. That's the answer. I don't have to wait on it. You're single. But the thing about it is, when you look at it, we talked about this on like wifey material. Like, you guys are together, but do you have a combined bank account? You know why? You don't, because you're still single. There's still a separation of what you guys do together. Like, there's steps to all of this stuff. In all those steps, if this is a bell curve, it's a very skewed bell curve. There's a lot of you can do before you get married. But all that to the left of marriage is still single. It's levels to it, but it's still single. It's part of the bigger picture of you can't get on the insurance plan because you're single. We haven't committed to doing certain things. Now, we might combine our incomes, but we can't do certain things because we're still single. We can't enjoy all the benefits of not being single.
No, you can't enjoy the benefits of not being married. See, that's the difference there.
Married and single, same thing.
No, it's not. You're talking about from a legal standpoint. That's why I'm saying legal standpoint is very different than a relationship standpoint. Relationship standpoint says I'm single until I'm not dating anybody else.
Okay. So there's two boxes. There's a relationship side and there's a legal side. Okay. If you can't check both boxes, then you're still single.
How?
You can't check both boxes.
No.
Can you check? Are you single? You're not single in the relationship box. Okay, you're in a relationship. Good for you. Are you married? Legally, are you single? Yes. So you're partly single. You're single. They had a whole show. You're Blackish. You're single-ish. You might not be all the way single, but you're single. You can't. There's two. We're talking two sides. You're in a relationship. Are you single? No. You're in a relationship. Are you legally single? Yes or no? If you can't check both boxes, then you're single. Because you have not done all the things.
That's the difference. And when I'm at a job or whatever, they don't ask your relationship status. They ask your marital status. That's why you're single or married. Your marital status is different than your relationship status. Facebook has relationship status. And in Facebook, you can put single, it's complicated, in a relationship, married. Those are relationship statuses.
You said, relationship status. You don't check single. Marital status, you check single. You can't check both boxes. You're half single. You're still single-ish. Like, you can't check both boxes. If you can't check both,
but we're talking about you're just saying what angle are we asking for? What context are we asking for?
You're moving the goalposts. I'm saying, can you check both boxes? Are you single? Are you legally single? Yes or no?
No, you're making up rules.
How am I making up? That's how the world sees it. How?
The world sees
how am I making up rules? The world legal. We're talking about legally. You're single or not? Is that not important?
From a relationship standpoint, the world has seen
everything you're saying about relationship is cool. I get.
You're not single.
The relationship part, okay, but then there's two parts to it. You were saying that. You were saying there's two parts to it. Yes, in the relationship part, you're not single, but you're still single legally, marital status. Like you're still. So if you can't check both boxes, you're still single.
Okay,
because if you're in this relationship,
that's fine. I'm telling the women out there, that if they tried that with actual good men, most good men are gonna walk away and be like, "Well, fine," because good men.
You're being petty.
No, it's not because I'm being petty. It's because the mindset of you saying that I'm single until I'm married makes me feel, and it really comes down to that, right? It makes the guy feel insecure. Like it makes the guy insecure. It's you're basically saying that I'll entertain other men, and if somebody comes and gives me a better proposition than
that's not what she's saying.
Then I'm gonna leave.
You made that up.
No, that's exactly
what she's saying. You made that up. No, that's not. She's saying if you care enough about me, you'll put a ring on it. You'll take me to that next. You want this box? Take the next box. Check the next box.
So Ferg, when you were dating Z and Ass, you said you were single.
I was always single until we're married. I tell people to date until they're not married. Enjoy life. Now the thing about it is,
but I mean, before you got married,
I got married, I was still single.
When you were engaged to Z, you were telling people you were single.
Yeah, I'm in a relationship, but I'm still single.
No.
Because,
see,
hold on. Hear me out.
If somebody approached you and was like, "Hey, I want your number," and you didn't treat them like you were single, I got a lady. You're not single.
I got a lady, but I'm still not,
in a relationship
because you're looking at part of it. I didn't commit I was still single because of the way I thought. I did not commit financially. I didn't commit holistic, like the things I did when I became a husband, because it's a whole nother level of the way I change as a man and as I change as a breadwinner and a provider, because that's another level. As a single man who was engaged, I had to step my game up as a married man. So I was still single. I was preparing to take that next level. So box one, no, I'm not single. Box two, yeah, I'm still kind of, man, I don't know if I want to combine our bank account. Like I was still thinking as a single man.
So y'all wasn't living together before you were married?
We were still living together. I didn't live with somebody when I was 21. So that's not the thing. What I'm saying is
you were financially thinking about her.
Yes, but I had committed myself the way I did now, because at any point when I was engaged, I could have still backed out. Z is on every bank account I have, every credit card I have now, because we are married. I took that to another level. I didn't do that. I was preparing to be married. I was preparing, but I hadn't. That last box is I was still that bell curve. I checked all the boxes until I got married. And when I got married, there was a whole nother level of boxes that I had to start checking.
That marriage is the end state.
I understand the point. I understand the point of the video. The video basically is telling women, don't let men waste your time. But it's not as black and white as you're making it. I think mostly, Ferg, you're arguing legally, but then it sounds like you're kind of blending it into past the legal point. It's levels to it, dog. Like, I think you're giving bad advice, giving your answer by saying you're either single or married, because a single person, a true single person, is single. They don't have to answer nobody. They can do what they want. They can see who they want, all of that. If you're in a committed relationship, then you're with a person who you care about, you love, and you guys are working towards something, building towards something. There's no way you're going to have that same behavior as though you were single. Otherwise, you're never going to make it to marriage.
So I see what you're saying, but let's be honest. If it was that easy, there wouldn't be a need for a video. There wouldn't be a discussion. There is a deeper point. So the point they were trying to make was...
Well, people make stupid videos all the time.
Yeah. But then we wouldn't be arguing it on the show. Then. We wouldn't be debating it on the show.
Yeah, but I get what she's saying. And I agree when you talk about the don't let the guy waste your time. If y'all have been dating for 3 years and you're not cool with it, if you want to go further and he doesn't, walk, step. I'm all for that. I'm not about, hey, waste your time and hang out with this dude for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. Because I do agree. A guy, after about a year and a half, he knows if he wants to marry you or not.
So he, and that's what I'm saying. He hasn't taken all the steps to officially make you unsingle. Hasn't done everything in the world they can say that this person can no longer say on any level, where this is debatable or not, is this Z is not single. There's nobody that can question, is she single or not, right? There's no way you can spin it or not. Oh, well, they've been together for 5 years. They got 3 kids, but they ain't been married. They can't say anything. Right now, until you commit to making that person commit to being together, where there's no longer any parts of you that are single, as far as relationship wise, legally, whatever, you're not single.
I know married
anymore.
couples that have separate accounts and don't combine their finances at all. I know married couples that live in different areas, like in 2 different towns.
The marriage is just the state sanctioned license. You should already have the commitment and love and everything before you officially tie that knot. So the marriage can't be the barrier that makes you single or not.
That sounds good, because until you have that woman that's been my bad.
No, I was gonna say what
we talk about people that have been engaged for 5-10 years, but they but we're still like, why hasn't he married her yet? Because they're still haven't committed. They're okay with this person being.
But there's no way when you were engaged to Z that she could have big stennis and say, "Hey, I'm single."
But that's not part of our relationship. But y'all know I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that when you're single,
that's exactly what it sounds like.
No, what I'm saying is
arguing.
No, what I'm saying is there's
there's
levels to relationship. There's levels to relationship, but at the end of the day, you have not done everything you can to take her off the board for being single. Like, that's what I'm saying is there's dating and there's all these levels that you were talking about. We're talking, yada, yada, yada. We might even move it in together. We might get engaged. But at the end of the day, I have not, until I put a ring on your finger in front of God and family and all, I have not done everything to make us whole. I have not done everything to make you no longer available, non-married. To me, single equals non-married, not I'm not in a relationship.
That part can be true that you haven't done everything, but that doesn't mean you're single. That just means you haven't done everything. Single has its definition. The other phases of the relationship have their definition as well, but you're not single.
But they all fall under that still, you're still part. To me, it's two parts. And we can disagree. Once again, that's why I said we can agree to disagree. It's this side of the coin, it's you're married. This side of the coin, you're single. Now, it might be the most single you can be is you don't got nobody, but you're still, until you fully commit to somebody, then you're still single. You can walk away. You can you know what, I'm good out of this, and you can walk away, no problems. We wasted 5 years of our life. Here's your engagement ring back, whatever the case may be. Especially when we got no kids, we walk away. We don't got to sign any papers.
Okay.
I mean,
it's like Razi said. That's marital status. That's not relationship status.
I mean, are you legally single or married? Have you committed to this person to make them your wife or spouse?
Legally doesn't matter for a relationship.
I'll ask.
But you're just talking about. You keep making it about a relationship. I'm saying it's not all about the relationship. It's two parts.
Not all about, but it's when you ask a person, are you single or not? You're not asking them if they're married or not.
Like, you can't even answer the question. You talking about something? I got a lady. No, you was telling people you was engaged. Come on.
Yeah, like that's the question. If somebody walks up to you and you're dating somebody seriously, and they say, "Are you single?" and a dude says yes because I'm not married, she's gonna be pissed. She's gonna be pissed.
Once again, we can agree to disagree on this one. I feel this way. Like it's parts of the relationship that all fall under single.
I just called cap that you felt that way while you were.
I did.
dating.
I was nervous to get married. I mean, it's the thing about it is I wanted to take it to that next level and make her officially my wife.
That may be true, but you wasn't saying you were single, big
I never said I was single. I said there's levels to this shit.
That's what we're talking about.
It's saying you're single and being single are two different things. It is. Once again, you want to make it about the relationship. It's cool when I say either you're single or you're married, but that's irrelevant. But when you want to use it, it works. Are you married or single? Simple, yes or no. Married or single?
I'm single, but that's a marital status. It's the same. That's a marital status. That's not a relationship status. It's not the same, and I think that's.
Can I agree? Disagree with y'all?
That's the difference. Yeah,
I just disagree. It's cool. It worked for me. I'm telling you, I just disagree.
I disagree with your disagree.
That's fine. That's fine.
You were not saying you were single.
That's fine.
And you were not allowing Z to say she was single.
I just said I never said I.
All right, man. All right. Okay. All right. Did we run out of time?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
No, we had a couple of stops. We're good.
Okay. Cool.
But how much time do you think we have? Let me see.
Not a listen to see why I asked that question.
No, I mean it's cool to me.
Oh man, that was dope. That was dope.
So it's gonna be back to kind of the married or relationship topic. So there was a post by a young lady called Morgan Brittany. It said, contrary to popular beliefs, staying for the kids is a good enough reason to try to make it work and stay in a relationship to me. Society makes it seem like your happiness is a motivating factor to leave what you established, but how can that be true when happiness is a fleeting emotion? Meaning it is not something that it just is, it's something that comes and goes. So just because I may be unhappy today, I can be beaming with joy tomorrow and vice versa. I think the real problem is that most couples just don't want to do the work it takes to get back to a state of happiness, even if it is just for the sake of your kids. Most of it is just rooted in pure selfishness. What motivation to make something work than kids? Kids are excellent reasons to work on your personal issues and get to a state of contentment. But that's the problem. Nobody wants to just be content, even if it is for the kids. Whole human beings that didn't ask to be here and would want more than anything to see both their parents every single day. When you decide to have kids, you agree to certain sacrifices that benefit the kids more than they do you. So yes, staying for the kids should be enough motivation to get some act right and learn to compromise with each other. Sorry, not sorry.
What's the young lady name?
Morgan Brittany.
So she said it should be motivation to work. And I agree. That can be your motivation to try and make it work. However, that can't be the reason why you stay in a marriage that's unhappy. And I don't mean unhappy like, man, I came home and the wife ain't have my dinner heated up. Or to make it non-sexist, I came home and my husband didn't have my dinner heated up. Or he leaves the toilet seat up. Or she doesn't fold the clothes in a timely manner when she does the laundry. It can't be little stuff like that, you know. But to be in a sustained, unhappy relationship and to only stay for the kids, I'm sorry, that's borderline stupid. And I know that's easy to say because don't get me wrong, I can imagine it is hard to break up your family because you want to stay that one unit for your kids. So I'm not downplaying the difficulty of it, but you got one life. And the saying goes, F them kids. Because at the end of the day, when they grow up and they be grown and they want to marry somebody that you think is bad for them, 9 times out of 10, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do what they want to do. You got one life. You deserve to reasonably be as happy as you possibly can make yourself with what you can control. And if leaving that marriage is the peace that you need, then go get that peace. If both of you guys care about the kids like you say you do, you'll make it work. You know how many kids are coming from divorced homes and are turning out fine? I mean, you can make it work. It's not impossible. So that would be my advice. So I think she's on to something where it should be motivation. You do want to think about your kids because Ferg, you said it best. divorce affects the entire family, especially your immediate family with the kids. So they deserve to be considered and be that motivation to try and make it work. But after you try to make it work and it still ain't working, what you gonna do? Stay and be miserable? Because the flip side of that is kids seeing an unhealthy marriage. And that probably is more dangerous than you divorcing.
Yep.
Because them seeing an unhappy marriage just teaches them all sorts of wrong things. So she's on to something, but don't let that be the reason you stay.
Remember when I talked about Kanye, I said a broke clock, right, twice a day? Part of what she says is right. Just like you said, Buff, I definitely agree. I think the kids need to be a motivation. They need to be, hey, let's try to make this work. Let's go to counseling. Let's try to figure out what it is. How do we fall in love and decide to have kids and get married? And now we're here, right? What changed? Let's talk about that. Let's figure that out. But at the moment that we can't, at the moment that it's not going to work, at the moment that we see, like you said, Buff, that, you know, it's the bad times outweigh the good. God rest her soul. My mother, that's one thing she told me when I was thinking about getting a divorce. She said a marriage is supposed to be happy times with bad moments, not bad times with happy moments. And that is some of the trillest thing or like advice that I ever heard. Like, it all comes down to what is better and how are we going to be happier for our child. So while the motivation for the child, it shouldn't be the motivation to stay together. It should be the motivation to make our relationship the best that it can be for our children. And me and Allison are probably the best example of that. Is we're better as friends. We are cool. And that was the best thing for Haley, because together it was those happy moments, but it was just constant fighting and everything like that. And it wasn't a good environment, right? But once we separated, after we got over it, we were good. And now we're like the closest of friends. She comes, hangs out. We're in a group chat with Haley. Like it works because that was the best thing for our relationship. So we could be the best parents for our child. So I think when she talks about the motivation to stay together, I think the bigger question is what the children should be a motivation to make our relationship the best that works for us. And that may not be together. And that's the other part about that she's ignoring, is that sometimes y'all relationship might work better apart than it does together.
Well said, brothers. Well said. Few things. I'm going to take a step back and remind everybody. Have you guys, I think we talked about this before. Have you guys ever had like a job or something that just made you miserable? Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine saying, I can never leave that situation. Never. Whatever your worst job was, whatever the worst relationship was, you can never leave that moment because of somebody else. I don't think people truly understand how heavy. I've had bad jobs that made me lose sleep. I was having a job, right? A job. We're talking about marriage. You know, like we're talking about something completely different. Till death do us part. So if we get married I got married at 31. God willing, I see another 30, 40 years. For 40 years, 50 years, you want me to be miserable for some goddamn kids that might not appreciate the sacrifice you made for them? Because I always say, and I tell people all the time, people usually don't appreciate the sacrifice you make with the same energy you make the sacrifice. It's not reciprocated, and it never will be. And I'm not blaming the kids. So to come out and just berate or just to tell somebody they're messed up because they want some semblance of joy in their life, it's crazy. Now to what you were saying, Buff and Razi, one of the best things you can do for your kids is showing what healthy adulting looks like. Healthy adulting. How I want to teach my kids how to take care of themselves. I want to teach them how to take care of their mental health, how to make the tough decisions. Because if daddy and mommy never leave because the kids and they put with everything because, well, I'll never leave that job because if my parents can stay through all that, I ain't gonna quit this job because it's not as bad as marriage. They'll never leave anything. They'll never leave a bad situation because they're used to seeing people stick it in through thick and thin, no matter what. I hope the best for every marriage, but sometimes you just got to realize this wasn't meant to be. And the only blessing that's going to come from this situation is our kids. In the lives and the relationships and the memories that we will have with them moving forward. Yes, it should be the motivation to try to make it work. And do everything you can to try to make it work. I encourage that because no marriage is perfect. There's going to be the ups and downs, but at the same time, you owe it to yourself as a human being to not even be happy, because they talked about being happy is a bad thing. And I feel like I think happiness outweighs love. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yep.
You want me to be miserable? Miserable? That is unhealthy. People die earlier because they're miserable. I'd rather get a divorce, be mentally, physically, emotionally healthy, and stick around for a long time with my kids and hope to give them good advice on marriage and things to look out for and red flags, rather than to die early because I was miserable and had health issues and I was always stressed and had high blood pressure. That stuff, we've seen those marriages. We've seen kids just wish their parents would just split up. It wasn't healthy. And at a certain point in time, you're just going to you're going to shut down, you're going to leave, or you're going to snap. There's only so many options. That's just human nature. Marriage is no different from anything else. Humans are humans. People have weaknesses. People only can take so much. And like Byron said, after a certain point in time, them kids gonna be gone. Hell, when they 15, 16, 17 and ain't in the house no more anyway, they don't give a damn what you and your mama doing. They can care less. They gonna be upset that it's 2 Christmases and all that. They gonna be hurt, but they don't care about you staying together no more. It hurts. It might be a little embarrassing and messes up their dreams of a happy home, but they gonna be out there getting in relationships, not being single no more and all that stuff. But you gotta do what you can to teach them to be healthy. And with that, I'm done.
It's fiction, but there's a season on The Sopranos where Meadow finally separates from Tony, and Carmela separates from Tony, and Meadow ask her mom, like, why did you take so much shit from him for all these years? So, like, you could stay in that marriage and your kids grow up and realize, pretty much call you stupid. Like, why did you decide to be miserable all those years? You know what I mean? So you've been stuck around in your marriage for them, and they looking at you like you dumb. So no, you deserve happiness. You don't put up with misery.
And y'all always tell me, if you don't want, then he ends up cheating or she ends up cheating, and it's like, well, you should have left, but you just told me I can't leave.
Right.
Right.
And it's not all about the sex. It's about like not being happy, not being fulfilled. There's something missing, but I have to put the rest of my life on hold. We're still humans. Before you're a husband, before you're a father, before you're anything, you're a human with emotions. And our emotions always aren't if we can control it, we all know what we should do and want to do. It doesn't happen that way. You know, we should be happy in a relationship. We should be able to get over stuff fast. It doesn't work that way. We're human. So, you know, kids should be the motivation. But Byron, you said it best. Kids should be the motivation, but not the reason you stay. Because you'll end up resenting them kids, especially when they don't reciprocate the sacrifice that you made.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey,
Hey, you're not on mute. Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my coffee mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai Iced Coffee Flavored Creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Good night, itchy eyes. Good night, sudden sneeze. Good night to your symptoms of allergies. Xyzal is the allergy medicine you take before bed. It provides powerful relief while you rest your head. Not just all night, but all the next day. Xyzal keeps working, keeping allergies at bay. And without those annoying symptoms disturbing your rest, you can wake up the next morning feeling your absolute best. Remember, be wise all. Take Xyzal. At night.
Three brothers. What else we got? That's it?
So I started off the show with very little, but I'm going to end it with a lot more. First and foremost, when this episode drops, it'll be my daughter's birthday. And I know sometimes she's in the car with Tabitha listening to the show. So if you guys are listening together, happy birthday, Jazzy, 14 years old, Halloween baby. Also want to send some prayers. I'm not going to name him because he's a fairly private guy, but our friend who had surgery a few months ago, he's getting radiation treatment starting on Monday. So I just want to send some prayers up to him. He expressed a little nervousness about it, but I feel like he's in good hands, and I just want to send prayers up to him and his entire family. And last but not least, Inspire You audience, I know most of you guys know about this as well, but there's a documentary on Netflix called Descendent, and it is based in our hometown, Mobile, Alabama, where it is discussing the last slave ship that brought slaves over here. After slave was officially illegal in the United States, there were a couple of residents in Mobile that said, screw that law, I think I can still get some over here. So they built the ship and named it the Clotilda. Went and got, I believe, 110 Africans and brought them back and docked right in Mobile, Alabama, which is now known as the town that they brought them in is Africa Town down there in Mobile. And the documentary is about discovering parts of the ship to prove what was kind of like a myth, almost an urban legend, so to speak. But it got some, like, I knew about Clotilda, but some of the information that the documentary reveals, like, oh man, I should have had all these names ready. But the woman that got all of the notes and stuff from like the last remaining slave from that ship, he just told her like all these stories, and she turned it into a book. If you watch the documentary, you'll figure all that out. I apologize for not remembering the names. But the final point I want to make on the documentary, there's a part in the documentary where one of the descendants of the slave ship captain, who name was William Foster, he was the captain of the boat. One of his descendants is in the documentary. And there's a part where he's on the boat with two descendants of the slaves from the Clotilda. And he is pretty much, like, you can see him kind of working his way up, trying to whitewash the history of his ancestors. And at one point he was like, from what I'm told, he was a pretty good slave owner. Like, he wasn't that mean to him. And he was like, and so the black dude kind of side on him. He was like, and he was nice about it, but he was like, good slave owner, bad slave owner, it's still slave owner. Yeah, exactly. So you're not gonna clean that shit up in front of me, man. But check it out, man. It's a good documentary. And I believe they're gonna turn it into a museum and stuff down there. So check it out.
Yeah, shout out to Africa Town, man. That's my old stomping ground, Plateau magazine, that area. So I still don't mess with Plateau. Love that place, man. So Mudell, that's spending time with Mudell. That was it. M.E. Knight didn't even have a whole name. Her name was M.E. Like the letter M, the letter E. But nah, man, I don't have anything. Just want to thank everybody. This is early. The shopping style is actually this Sunday. We're recording on Thursday. But when this drops, we will be done. And so I want to take this time to go ahead and thank everybody for all of the support the ticket sales, the silent auction items, the sponsorships, everything that everybody's done for it. And so hopefully next show I'll be able to kind of announce what we made and what we're able to kind of give to the scholarship after this. But just thank you all for all the support with the Shop and Style, the scholarship, and thank you for supporting Three Brothers No Sense with all the merch, hitting the website, threebrothersnosense.com, and also Inspire You on air, all the listeners on there. We appreciate you guys listening every Monday night, 10 o'clock Central Time. So make sure you take that time, download the app. If you're listening to us on the podcast platforms, download Inspire You on air. Go ahead and get that and check out some good music on that side too.
It's hoodie season. Go copy a hoodie. threebrothersnosense.com.
Yep.
Definitely copy a hoodie. You got anything else, Razi?
That's it, man.
Okay, well, really quick. Happy birthday, Jasmine. To all the Halloween babies out there, Jaislyn, all the Halloween babies, everybody, my barber, it's a lot of Halloween babies. I know about 5, 6. Next thing is Till comes out this week. So by the time you see this, hear this podcast, we rented out a theater. I'm taking the Lamplighters and family. So we're making a family day and we're going to see the movie. I'm super excited about it. It actually has a 99 on the Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm excited, but we also see Rotten Tomatoes gave Black Adam like a 2 or whatever they gave it to. And it was actually one of the better DC movies, honestly. So There was a couple of parts, but honestly, maybe it was a little too woke for him. And then last but not least, since we're talking about woke, this is my last thing I'm going to say about Ye. It is not about Ye. It's about people complaining about how he got canceled and that, nobody did anything when he was talking about all the stuff about black people. Mm-hmm. From slavery being a choice to the George Floyd thing. It is about race, but it's also about power and numbers. The biggest difference is the people who got offended and wanted change did the things that caused change. And they've been doing it from the beginning. So it's organized, it's consistent, it's coming. There's no questions. We can't pick and choose when we want to fight those battles. So stop talking about, oh man, because it was Jews and stuff like that. It is because that, what I think? We still bought Yeezys. Yeezys are flying off the shelf. They are resellers that are making more money than they ever made off these Yeezys, which were already overpriced. The difference is they demanded change. So I always say this, black people, we got to stop complaining. We're very, it's all lip service. It's not bad enough or we're not mad enough to demand change and do what it takes. So until then, stop complaining or just post on Facebook, get it out your system and keep moving on. Because we have to do it collectively and we have to set the standard on what we want. So with that being said, Three Brothers No Sense, listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.